Hi there! I recently had the opportunity to interview Martins, the CEO of Qataloog, a online book distribution service for university libraries in Africa. He recently started using the Blockonomics tool to allow university customers, to use Bitcoin to pay for their books, and so I got a chance to talk to him about Qataloog and what he's doing with Blockonomics and Bitcoin. Let's check it out.
Okay, thank you very much, Frederick. It's my pleasure standing here to be interviewed by Blognomics. It's a great one. Thank you so much. Firstly, Martins Fidelis catalog. What we do is very simple. I was having a conversation with one of the university librarians in Nigeria, and she said, "How come you techies have not built a platform where libraries can find the best content at cost-effective budget for their academic programs?" I said, wow, that would be nice. So I went into research with my co-founder, Kayode Adebuni, and then we discovered three different pain points that librarians are going through in Africa. Firstly, according to Forbes, we saw that higher education in Africa requires 30 million books and journals per annum to meet up this content availability gap in Africa. UNESCO says 12 students are sharing one book. Say a learning cost. Second, according to Association of American Publishers, and because of these markups, the price continued to skyrocket. Okay, thirdly, we saw that Forbes also gave a statistics that almost 1 million books are published in the US alone. So if you look at what is published in Europe and all of that, you see there's a huge book churn out every year, but publishers don't know how to get this content to the right content consumers, the students, the libraries, the research organizations, and all of that. So looking at these three challenges, we built Qataloog. Now our goal is to provide a platform. Now, while building that, we sent survey forms to 40 university librarians and said, what will you want to use technology to solve in your job? And 28 of them responded. And the major point we took from their response was they want to decentralize catalog selection. Now, that means if you, for instance, Frederick, are the librarian of AYZ University, you'll be responsible for the way it works in Nigeria. You'll be responsible for buying all the content, the books and journals that they need. Now, you might not know what, say, is a department like aerospace engineering will need. You might not know what maths will need. You might not know what the departments will need. So what we did in Qataloog, just like Slack works, where you, as a team, you can collaborate and then you send invite to team members to join your handle. That's what we did in Qataloog. So as a librarian, all you need to do is to create an account on Qataloog, and then after creating your account, you add all the various departments in your school, and then you add a buying budget to each of the departments. They all receive this invite. They click on the link and they join from your email, and then they now select the content they need for their own content for their department. So all their selection are automatically compiled in your dashboard. Users can, you as a librarian can edit this and all of that. Now we brought Blognomics into this equation because we wanted to give the users variety of payment options where after the various departments have selected the content they need, they can pay out using blockchain, and Blognomics was the main point here where whatever blockchain you are using to if you are using, say you are using Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of them, we'll be able to see what your invoice and the conversion rate and all of that using Blognomics.
Okay, great. Thank you for the overview, and you really brought up some more things that I want to look into, and of course getting into the Bitcoin and the Blockonomics later. But I want to start with the system of allowing the faculty to then be invited by the librarian. I think is really ingenious. My father is an academic librarian. My mother's a professor, and I worked in the library when I was going to university. So I know that it's such a hard system to try to make sure that the faculty gets the right books from the library. And so I think that that's great that you included the system to allow them to directly do that through in your system. I think that's great. What are some of the difficulties that you face working in Africa, a variety of different nations that you're supplying to in getting that what they need?
Okay, thank you very much. Some of the major resource challenges we face, it ranges from one, the resources itself. For instance, in Nigeria, the government regulation is that when purchasing books for your library, for your academic programs, you should purchase local content also. At least 50% should be local content. But we have very few publications on various specialties. For instance, if you talk about aerospace engineering, if you talk about blockchain, and various, say, aerodynamics and all of that, you don't have local authors in these areas, and that's the challenge. And because you don't have lots of local authors publishing in these areas, it affects the quality and quantity of content that are available, for the libraries to select from, research organization. Our goal is to provide the most current content, the most current. So if, for instance, a book was written in 2010, if you go to our site, you won't find it listing on our database, because we want the last 5 years, at least the last 5 years. So we begin to have challenge with resources. Also, we have challenge with exchange rates. The Naira to USD is really bad. We're talking about over 360 Naira per USD. And then when these content are coming from the US, because one of our value propositions to the end user is cost. It is a price-sensitive space. People are very conscious about how much this content is. So if you are buying a book for $40 in the US, it's okay. But if you convert $40 to Nigerian Naira, you are going about 18 to 20,000 Naira, and that becomes very expensive. So these are the challenges that we're meeting.
And so then I want to jump into the exchange rates, but because you mentioned it, I really want to dive into that. How does Bitcoin allow you to get around those exchange rates?
Okay, thank you very much, Frederick. I think it's a bit of a technical side. My co-founder, wrote those code, and it's more vast in that area. He would have best answered that question, but I know he found a way. And then when he introduced Blockonomics to me and told me, hey, these guys can do this for us, take away our challenge, how we can convert Bitcoin and how we get paid, that Blockonomics, up till now, he's still an expert in that area. That brought Blockonomics into the equation, and how you can pay with Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of that, and then he got the conversion right. So I just sit down and focus on growth. Maybe I would have brought him into this call.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Still, a good answer. How big of a distribution do you have right now? Is it mainly focused in Nigeria and West Africa, or are you seeing more and more people and universities opening up, coming to you from various locations around the continent?
Actually, Frederick, the adoption has been very low. Okay. That's the truth. The adoption has been low. So far, we've done $150,000 in revenue. We've distributed about 2,000 plus books and journals. We've added 350,000 books and journals on our network currently. We have about 8,500 publishers and vendors on the platform. But we expected a faster scaling, a faster growth on the platform. Because of that, we had to employ the services of pitching to schools, librarians via Skype, showing them how this works and why this is the best fit for their challenge. Because we took feedback while building the platform, we believe that we are solving the real challenges they are facing. And some of them are thrilled by what we are doing and they love it, and they are buying from us. Some of them, especially in Nigeria, they have a lot of interest. So if, Frederick, you are a librarian, you might have a cousin who is a vendor. So you want to buy through your cousin. So people are interested in purchasing. And then there's a very dark side of it where it's a closed system. You just want to channel the supplies to your brother. And we tell them, look, this is not a challenge. We are a tech solution. We don't hold books. We don't keep books. We just provide the who is selling to be able to sell. We take away the customer acquisition cost from them. We make it easy for the content to be indexed, get visibility, and then sell fast for an exchange of 30% transaction fee when you have made a sale. So we want to onboard even your current vendors onto the platform. And the value you are going to have as a librarian is that you get the best pricing. You get the most current content, the latest content, via research, the latest publications, and we continue to pitch this value proposition before them. And in the end, we get a lot of them churning up. And then currently we are speaking to the government to say, okay, like in Nigeria, there's an organization called Tertiary Education Trust Fund. What they do is that they provide intervention for learning content across 215 schools, universities, and colleges in Nigeria. We're telling them, instead of giving your fund directly to the school, can you ask your schools that you're providing interventions for to select their content using Qataloog, so that there will be competitiveness. It will be open equal opportunity for everyone to be able to sell to these schools instead of having a closed system. And it brings transparency also. If you are using Qataloog, auditors can easily audit your purchases from when you started using Qataloog, because everything is there, it's archived, it's seen all the transaction that has been done and all of that. So these are the values we're sharing, but generally we're expecting a faster growth than what we're experiencing now, because an average librarian in Nigeria is actually advanced in age. You may have graduated in the 70s and then started your career in the 80s, grow progressively in the career, and then you become a librarian. So this group of people are not tech savvy. They don't want to stress themselves going through technology to see that technology can make their job easier. So because of this, we begin to have challenges trying to, tell them why this is a best fit for them. So, but we are hoping that getting investment with Qataloog, will be able to gain more brand exposure, market more, and then be able to, sell fast.
And I have to say that, even if adoption has been lower right now, I said it earlier in the interview that I think that this is a really good idea. And as someone who is heavily connected in with the academic librarian system, at least in the West, it's something that is really useful, even for Western librarians.
It's very profitable. The business itself is very profitable. For instance, a book you will buy maybe through Amazon for $50, on Qataloog you will get it for less than $30. That's because we are providing the publisher's price. We are linking you directly to the publisher. So there are a lot of discounts that you are going to have using the platform. And for us as a business, it's very profitable because we keep 30% of each transaction on our platform. And for a purchase, you have portfolios up to a minimum of $5,000, $10,000, and it's recurrent. So you see more and more schools, once they start buying the content through Qataloog, they will come back again and again and again and again, because they find that it is cheaper, it is faster, and they get the best content. And beyond selling to the school, we also enable the schools to gain visibility for their own publications. Most of the university, according to World University Ranking, the ranking comes based on your own publication for your journals, for your academic work, and all of that. So, but after they've done the publication, there's no way for them to get visibility for the content that they've done. There's a school called University of Ibadan. When we're talking to them, they already have vendors supplying content to them. After we told them, look, we're not only helping you get this content, we also help you index your own content. And then we also help them to, sell their own publication to university in Rwanda. So this helped them to get, to go higher in the ranking. It's a very profitable space.
Yeah, I can imagine. Since we're talking about profits and money, we can head back into the Bitcoin for a little bit. So you mentioned briefly about the introduction that you had to Blockonomics, and with your partner who deals more with the tech space. Could you go further into detail about that? How he introduced you to Blockonomics?
Okay, so basically, we were looking for a way to allow, because of the exchange rates, and in Africa, because we have different currencies. So we were looking for a way where people could purchase this content via Bitcoin. The idea came as a result of the fact that there are diverse currencies, unlike Europe, so we introduced Bitcoin. And then when we introduced Bitcoin, the challenge we were having was, how do we send invoices to, after they've purchased? How do we invoice this content? There were a lot of challenges with Bitcoin after after you've seen the conversion rate, how much of Bitcoin you are going to pay, and how you are going to come up, with the invoice and all of that. Kayode now introduce Blockonomics and say Blockonomics is going to solve, it's going to help with solving that challenge. I wish I would add Kayode now to do this one.
Oh, that's okay. It kind of makes sense, when you were talking about the decentralization of, about Qataloog decentralizing, it and with the book distributions, immediately what popped in my head was, oh man, no wonder why he chose to start using Bitcoin, because it, to include that on your system, because it makes sense. It's the decentralization, it's the ease, it's when you're dealing with a lot of people from all kinds of different, a lot of customers and suppliers from all kinds of different locales and different currencies. It helps to include all kinds of options. So yes, thank you. And would you say that the installation and so on of Blockonomics has gone well, that it has melded well into your website, no major issues?
Yeah, it's solved the challenge that Kayode, we divided our roles. Kayode is in charge of all the tech. I'm in charge of growth. I'm the domain expert. Now, he mainly he used Blockonomics API. According to the explanation he was giving to me, it eliminated all the challenges, that he had, and there wasn't he didn't find it difficult to integrate the API into our platform. And when after he did that, he came and shared with me that it's such a simple, and it took away all the problems of conversion and the challenges he was experiencing before now. So it's such a fantastic one. We've been having challenges convincing our locals how Bitcoin works. Some of them don't even know. They have very low knowledge about Bitcoin. People still feel that it's easier for them to be defrauded using this Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of that. And that's because of the kind of people that the librarians are. So we are seeing that in the next decade, millennials will become librarians. It will be easier because at this point, they are more tech savvy, they understand more, and then it makes it easy. So because of the category of people we are dealing with, the age bracket, you need to do a lot of explanation how these things work and all of that. So, but generally, it has been fantastic working with Blockonomics because it took away all the challenges we were having with conversion, invoicing, and all of that.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm really glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Well, I guess that reaching the end, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I'm sure that there's a lot to be doing, especially in these trying days. Is there anything that you would like to add at the end? Anything at all? Anything that you want to push out to anybody who might be watching this video?
Okay, so again, my name is Martins, CEO Qataloog. We are looking for investments. We're seeking $250,000 investment to be used for marketing. New hires want to bring in talented folks, skilled workers to be able to scale to other geographies. We are looking for partnership with universities around the world. We also are seeking partnership with the best publishers. We take away the what do you call it, customer acquisition cost of the publishers. We help them index their content, help them sell fast, and also we help the librarians get the most cost-effective content, the most current and very special content, at the click of the button. So we'll be glad to partner investors, venture capitalists, angel investors, come and invest in Qataloog. It's a very viable and profitable space. And we focus on the social impact.
Great. Glad to hear it. Well, thank you, Martins, for taking the time out of your busy day to to give this great interview. It was really great talking to you about Qataloog, and I really want to emphasize again that I think you're doing great work. That it's something that's really needed, and the supplying libraries is one of the most important things that we can be doing as a civilization. So thank you for doing that, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you, Frederick, especially for this opportunity for us to, get more viewers to know what Qataloog does. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You.